The Arizona Diamondbacks are reportedly in on Kyle Tucker. How and where are they getting this money from? We are going to talk about this and if the Ketel Marte trade situation is what's freezing up the Diamondbacks making any more moves this offseason. We'll have all of this in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is I, your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla. Thrilled to have you guys here. Thrilled to be living another day of this dream we call being a Diamondbacks fan. Am I right? Am I right? It feels like a dream because every single day there's some new rumor that somehow doesn't feel real, despite it being reported by a very reliable source. So, and we have so much to talk about today, including the Athletics not being allowed to call the Athletics. And Damon and I are going to do our best to figure out how this bullpen is going to work if they don't make any additions to it. Speaking of which, we got our guy, Damon Farrell, aka Damon Dog, on the ones and twos today. He's back. I know that a lot of people were worried, Damon, that after fans in the Lidom threw trash at Geraldo Perdomo over a controversial call that had nothing to do with him, that people were worried you were going to be out there in the Dominican Republic, back in your homeland, you know, essentially taking care of business and protecting our sweet baby boy.
Yeah, I was kicking ass and taking names. Don't worry about me. It's underground business. I don't need to get into it too much. But
I figured as much. I mean, like,
don't touch Jerry.
People speculated on your whereabouts, and
don't even look at him.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the bigger thing. Why was he playing outfield? I don't want him out there. He's too close to people. You know, I need him on the infield where people can't throw trash at him. But of course, great to have you guys here. And again, like I said, great to be hearing yet another weird rumor about this Arizona Diamondbacks team that makes absolutely zero sense. According to a report from Marc Feinsand, the D-backs are now officially part of the Kyle Tucker conversation after today's report, which lists Arizona as one of the teams in on the star outfielder. I don't really know what to say about this. According to the financial, I guess, projections, Kyle Tucker is going to get a lot of money. A lot of money, Damon. Some are speculating $400 million. And this is the first time a nationally connected MLB insider has specifically named the D-backs among the clubs showing interest. It doesn't mean anything, I guess. But this does move the idea from pure speculation, which we recklessly do on this program all the time, into legitimate rumor territory. And like, again, Kyle Tucker is one of these guys that is still available on the market that any team would like to have. So I don't think that there's much of a discussion as to if we would welcome Kyle Tucker to Arizona with open arms, right? He's widely viewed as the top position player on the market, and any deal for him would be a huge addition to a team and a huge addition to that team's payroll. The expectations here is that his next contract would land well north of $300 million, with some believing it could push closer to $400 million, depending on the term and market, how the market dictates it. $400 million. Jacob Franklin's right. If they have $400 million, they certainly had $13 million for Pete Fairbanks. That's a guy that I'm still mad about missing out on. And part of the reason why could be the fact that Ketel Marte and the trade is causing things to kind of gum up the works here. But it doesn't seem to be getting in the way from the Diamondbacks being part of these huge free agent rumors that they really have no business to be in, right? Stone Cold Shot 2 says to play left field DH with 3 lefty outfielders. Nah, he passes on that. I mean, if we have a Kyle Tucker's numbers here, we can take a look that from, I think we have 2025 stats here. He was a great player, right? 266 batting average, 841 OPS, 73 RBIs, a 282 BABIP, and a B-WAR, baseball reference WAR there of 4.6, which is incredibly good. He was an outstanding defender as well as outstanding at the plate for the Chicago Cubs. It was the biggest priority of that fan base, for that fan base, was to bring this man back. And unfortunately, it does not look like the Cubs are going to be able to afford him and bring him back, which makes me wonder what the Diamondbacks are doing as a part of this. His career stats are outstanding, and he has put up some tremendous numbers over the course of his career, including a ridiculous 27.3 baseball reference WAR for his career, 273 batting average, an 865 career OPS, and a BABIP of 284 throughout his career. So, I mean, again, a guy who definitely is one of the best players in baseball. There's no argument about that in regards to his career and his, and what he's given to any team that he's been a part of. But again, the reality immediately raises questions for the D-backs. The reality of how much he's going to cost immediately makes me wonder how they're even in on these conversations, right? Teams like the Blue Jays and other big market clubs, they definitely have a clear financial path to completing a deal of this size. They have no restrictions, no financial restrictions in the same way the Diamondbacks do. And as I've said before in the past, the financial restrictions the Diamondbacks have are purely purely man-made, right? They are purely set by the owner of this team, our beloved Ken Kendrick, who said that the payroll is going to be smaller next year than it is this year. That's all we're going based on any of this. When I sit here and say, where do the Diamondbacks have money for this? I mean, they have money for it because it's just a decision that needs to be made, much like these big market clubs are making that decision, right? And let's not forget, the Diamondbacks had no money, they had no money, and then oops, Ken got aggressive, right? So what makes this interesting is the pattern, the fact that there has been multiple reports linking the Diamondbacks to some of the highest priced free agents on the market when we sat here thinking that they were going to stand pat and do very little. To be fair, Mike Hazen has been balling on a budget, and for him to go out and get 2 starting pitchers for $27.5 million for next season was a huge success. It still remains to be seen what Michael Soroka can give this team if he can be his former self, at least close to what he was at one point in his career. He could be a stellar addition to this team, and we know exactly what we're getting out of Merrill Kelly. But again, there are additions that needed to be made, and those additions weren't necessarily adding Kyle Tucker to this team, right? Again, the front office appears to be getting aggressive at the top of the market, even if the financials of it are unclear. The financial mechanics, how it could work. There's deferrals. There's structuring the contract where 2026 might be a light year for anybody they add through free agency. That's totally a possibility. Contracts don't have to be even year by year. So just to maybe kind of get themselves out of the financial hole that they see themselves for this season and maybe the uncertainty of 2027, perhaps they can structure a contract in a certain way. But again, the Diamondbacks here, I mean, overall, the Diamondbacks are in this conversation. And the cost, much like the Alex Bregman situation, seems to be the biggest obstacle. You can't sell me on needing to trade Ketel Marte and his little annual value on his contract and tell me that needs to be done in order to make way for a contract of this size. So again, until there's clarity on where the money would come from, Arizona's involvement here looks more like monitoring. That could probably be the catchphrase of the offseason for the Diamondbacks. Monitoring and positioning themselves rather than an actual full throttle push. I feel like we haven't really heard a lot of the actual direct financial, I guess, offers for Alex Bregman. There was a rumor going around that he got 4 years, $160 million offered to him by the Red Sox, but that really wasn't confirmed by anybody. I do believe that Buster Olney did say that the Red Sox got aggressive with their offer. So those two things would kind of coincide, considering how much money Bregman was going to make from the Red Sox before he opted out of his deal. That actually would make a lot of sense. However, it would still be essentially the exact amount he was making, just for a longer term. I feel like he'd be fairly satisfied with that. And if that is what the Red Sox offered him, I would not want to see the Diamondbacks beat that offer, nor would I want to see them offer even the same amount of money. But it's just crazy here because, you have this Diamondbacks team who are linked to Tucker, rumored to cost $400 million, linked to Bregman, rumored to cost $160. And I've been sitting here trying to figure out how to divvy up $35 million amongst like 6 different needs, right? Why am I over here shopping at the dollar store when you obviously might, in fact, have like Wagyu beef money? What are we doing? And there's a lot of things, by the way, that you could spend $160 million on or $400 million on, and it's not a single baseball player. Damon, I think we could sit here and put together a list of things. In fact, I have put together a list of a few things that we could perhaps buy instead of spending it all on a single baseball player. In fact, for $160 million, you and I could get 30 private jets that basically cost $5 million a piece. And then we start our own like private jet airline, right? Like with a fleet of 30 jets.
That sounds electric.
I mean, we're gonna turn this $160 million into $500 million in no time.
We're printing money.
I mean, yeah. If you want to just be silly with it, with $160 million, you could buy a real working submarine.
Wow.
I don't know about paying a crew to
someone
run
who
it.
can operate.
Like a submarine doesn't seem like the kind of ship you want to take on the responsibility of piloting yourself by any stretch of the imagination. So I do feel like you would have to have a crew there. But you could also, instead of a submarine, buy a small private island with enough money left over to populate it entirely with actual Diamondback snakes. Also, I found out you could buy a private island, a small private island. It's not very big, but it's still big enough. I mean, it's still big enough for you to like live off the grid and not have to ever see your in-laws ever again.
Yeah.
And then you'd have enough money left to populate it with actual Diamondback snakes if you wanted like a Diamondback Island. Diamondback Island. It's a good new reality show.
Wow.
See, now we're making money once again.
Snakes on a plane?
Snakes on a plane, snakes on an island. Sequel. Small island, nowhere to go. You don't like water, and neither do the snakes. Good luck. You could have the rights to your own holiday, where it actually could pay for a holiday. Believe it or not, it doesn't even cost $160 million. In fact, you could take the rest of the money that you have remaining from purchasing your own holiday and buy like a song. Get somebody to make you a song, like maybe a series of songs, like they do for Christmas. You could even have a holiday mascot. I don't know, throwing it out there. You could also buy every seat in every movie theater in America so that you're the only person to watch the Avengers Doomsday upon its release. Just eating up all those seats, all those tickets, all these people just seeing sold out across AMCs across the nation just because you bought all the tickets. I'm just saying there are things that you could spend $160 million on. I found out you could probably buy the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the White House, all for $160 million. But meanwhile, for $400 million, I'm bringing back the idea of the airline, but we're doing luxury yachts now. We're doing like a luxury yacht thing, renting, I don't know, business. There's something there. You could buy for $400 million a minor league baseball team, and you would have enough money left over to rename every single player on that team legally to have the last name Montilla. You could build a fully functional Death Star that wouldn't be the size of the moon, but it would be fairly close to the actual working size. You might be able to lowball Elon Musk on X, and that way we could turn it back to Twitter. And also, here's a fun one. For $400 million, you could actually end homelessness in the state of Arizona. Now, how do you feel about spending that on a Major League Baseball player? I hope I've heaped enough guilt on you to rethink this and not want to spend $400 million on Kyle Tucker. But yeah, that's all I got. Damon, you checking back on the stats on those. What would you prefer to do with the money here? Is it? Do you want Kyle Tucker or do you
Yeah,
want to end
I kind of
homelessness
want.
in Arizona?
I kind of want Kyle Tucker.
Oh my God, you selfish jerk! You're a bad
playing.
person.
I'm
Damon.
playing. Don't cancel me. That's a joke. Everyone, that's a funny.
Yeah, it's a funny.
I made a funny. But yeah, no, it actually is crazy when you think about kind of just how all of these, like how much money we're talking about playing around with here.
It's such
and
an
you're
insane amount.
And
of
you're
money.
like, the world could be a better place.
Yeah.
It's actually not even a joke, Derek. The world could be a better place, but instead we play
We're
sports
spending
ball.
it on athletes.
We play sports ball.
It's crazy.
And listen, like I'm Mr. Sports. I love sports more than literally almost anybody on planet Earth. I am in the top, 0.001% of sports lovers on Earth.
I mean, it's your entire life, literally. I've never seen anybody that lives and breathes sports more than
it affects my mood. I wake up in the morning. If my team lost yesterday, I'm just depressed, sad.
If your
it doesn't go away,
missed by one leg,
100%. The parlay is it's a different situation and it hurts even more. But yeah, I mean, like this, it is crazy when you think about man, we could really we could end homelessness. We could solve child hunger. We could do all of these things, but instead it's Kyle Tucker ball. It's Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
But can we get one of them?
I mean, can we get a fully functional submarine? I'm just saying. We could also get that. I kind of agree with Punkin Punk in the chat there. It says, I would pay Bregman, not Tucker. Yeah, when you're talking about these outrageous amounts of money, I mean, overall, Alex Bregman now seems reasonable by comparison.
Yeah,
so hearing that the Diamondbacks are in on Kyle Tucker, I'm like, yeah, let's just save some money and go with Bregman. Maybe you have some money left over to still add to your bullpen, which you haven't really done. We're going to try to fix that later. And in fact, if they don't add anybody to this bullpen, Damon and Ari are going to try to figure out what we're going to do. But I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
But that is nuts, no? Like Kyle Tucker, I mean, listen, he's a really good baseball player.
Absolutely.
But when you had me, Derek, put these stat graphics together, this is career stats here. 273 average, 865 OPS, 147 home runs. His BABIP is 284, and his BWAR is 27.3. Phenomenal player, all-star caliber player.
Absolutely.
But is he worth this contract?
I mean, this is 8 years.
$400 million, Derek, for this guy. He's great, but that's not Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
That's who I'm paying $400 million
100%.
to. Otherwise,
100%.
I'm kind of get lost, bro. I don't really need you.
I know you're going to hate to hear this, but Shohei Ohtani, right?
Yeah.
That's a guy I'm paying that much for.
It's a guy I'm paying $700 million for because he's a pitcher too.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. I think this once again just comes back to the amount of needs the Diamondbacks have that they haven't addressed yet, and them just suddenly wanting to be all in on somebody that's going to essentially destroy their budget, just skyrocket their budget far beyond what it was last year. I do know that, at least
unless it's deferred,
and there's that, right? There's ways to structure it, as I said earlier. But the fact that Bregman wants to play here, that also feels like a little bit more of a situation that makes me want him a little bit more rather than Kyle Tucker just going to the highest bidder. I don't know Tucker's feelings on Arizona. I'm sure he likes it here.
Did you see the news this morning of Alex Bregman working out at ASU? He's out there at Phoenix Muni taking ground balls with Marc Feinsand.
Him and Tarek Skubal were down the street from us. You and I could have gone and played catch with them. They were just outside of Chase Field. So
it does feel like Skubal and Bregman and are just Arizona. I mean, obviously Skubal's from here, but they're Arizona guys, and I'm not saying we can get Skubal or even that we could get Bregman, but I do like the Diamondbacks consistently going after the star players who are I really like Arizona.
Right.
Okay, Corbin Burns. Well, how much do you like Arizona? Let's find out. You know what I mean? So
Michael Dixon in the chat says Gambo already turned it down. This one's a little different though, because again, Marc Feinsand is a fairly respected MLB insider, and this isn't a mistranslation situation like it was with Akamoto. I don't know, but
I feel
again,
I feel like
Gambo just literally texts Hazen and Kendrick and is like, "Is this true?" And they're like, "Nah." And it's that simple for
probably
him.
Torrey.
I mean, again, Gambo, I respect the hell out of Gambo, and I will also say that Gambo is the only man I've seen come out of the press room after Torrey's done his press conference and then walked back to Torrey's office with him. We don't.
I was going to say Gambo might actually be at Tori's Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
Like genuinely.
I mean, and he actually brings much better food than you and I.
He brings
would.
pasta. Yeah.
Yeah.
He brings a dish. We just bring our personalities.
Yeah, we bring like garlic bread from Walmart.
It's
and
me.
We expect
it's
that
Derek
to fly
Montilla,
with Mrs.
and it's Gambo and the entire Lavolo family. And we sit down and we break bread.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, is it Pedersen or Peterson? I don't mean to be screwing that up, but he makes a great point. He says, we've been a top offense the last 2 years, and it hasn't worked. We need pitching, not one position player. That's it. I mean, again, we have been a bottom 5 pitching staff, and it has not worked, and it cannot be that going forward. That's what they need to address. They need to address the bullpen, and quite frankly, I would still love to see him add another starting pitcher, even though that seems like a luxury that we might not have at this point. But again, we've seen what happens when you have 7 starting pitchers, so I don't feel the utmost confidence about only having 5 going into this season. But excuse me for being having a little PTSD after 2025.
Derek, I have to ask you because we haven't spoken on this podcast. Obviously, I was off yesterday. Since the entire situation played out, Tatsuya Imai debuted at the Texans game on Sunday, and just taking in Houston. He might be the king of the city, despite never playing a game for them so far. And I tweeted at you because you were like, "I'll never get over him," and I said,
"I'll never." Get over him.
Rumors are swirling that Tatsuya Imai was a Diamondback. He was as good as a Diamondback until he realized. He looked up online. He said, "NFL team Arizona," and he saw the disaster that was the Arizona Cardinals, and he said, "I cannot go to that city." Now, what are our thoughts on that situation, the way it played out?
I watched his press conference, and he spoke in English off of a translation that he had written down, and I respect players no matter where they're from, and I respect players like speaking the language of I don't mind the interpreter thing or anything like that, right? But it once again reminded me of Jerry P, right? Where Jerry made such an effort to do interviews in English. In fact, we had that funny moment where he straight up said he was American, and he does it in English when trying to have
John, in English next time, John.
Right? So it's like, that's what I immediately thought of with Tatsuya Imai at his press conference. And I love everything about him. I mean, I'm going to be rooting for him as a member of the Astros, and I adore this man already. I think he's a winner, and I love the fact that he welcomes this challenge so much. He's embracing it. And, again, he's embracing Houston. It's his home now. He's out there at Texan games. He's out there throwing up the H everywhere he goes. It's freaking awesome, man. And I mean, again, I knew he was going to be that kind of player. That's what made me so miserable about the Diamondbacks missing out on him. You're just like, this guy is a game changer. And he is just the kind of player that whatever city he was lucky enough to get him, he was going to come in and embrace that city the way that we've seen him do it with Houston. I knew it with the energy that he was bringing about not wanting to play for another team that had other Japanese players on it, or not wanting to go to the Dodgers. Everything about him just spoke to me. And Katie's right. He's eating all the brisket, and he deserves all the brisket. Make sure it's the good smoked brisket.
But he should be eating all the Mexican food.
He should be. I know. Carne asada fries. Let's talk about it. Can we talk about it?
That would have changed Tatsuya Imai's life.
Yeah.
Having carne asada fries for the first time.
Yeah, and you're right. Even I'm thinking about abandoning the Arizona Cardinals, by the way. That's how bad things are right now.
They're really bad.
I'll show you the text messages later, but Tony Khan's trying to recruit me.
To the Jags.
We got a Jags thing going on.
It's literally the owner of the Jags.
I know.
I know. Derek's texting the owner of the 13-4 Jaguars, going, "Hey, water's warm in Jacksonville, buddy."
Yeah. I mean, I've been there before. It's a good time. I watched a really bad exploding ring match.
I'm kind of sitting here and I'm like, can we get out there for a game?
Yeah.
Can they Hey Tony. Okay. Can Derek and can the PHNX D-back show take over Duval?
We made somebody angry. We got a thumbs down in the chat. It's understandable. We deserve that. I apologize. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're not going to talk anymore about what we would do with $400 million, but instead we're going to talk about if Ketel Marte and the trade situation involving him is what is really holding the Diamondbacks up this offseason. We're going to do it on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. You know, Bet365 already has you covered for all sports, and as the football season winds down, you know, they got you covered in basketball and the NHL with early payout offers, as well as some interesting offers like NBA Tip-Off Tuesday. So do not miss out on all of these wonderful offers. And again, right now is a great time to be placing some bets on this Phoenix Suns team, and Bet365 is the place to do it. They have over 90 million users worldwide, and they actually live stream over 780,000 events each year. So of course, do not miss out on all of the fun with the early payout offers where you're a winner if your team goes up. For instance, in NHL, by 3 goals, despite the outcome of the game, you are a winner with a straight bet and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners as well. So again, do not miss out on all of the action over at Bet365. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5, and win or lose, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And it is 2026, and in the big 26, we are renovating our homes. Again, it's something that I have made a metaphor about when it comes to the Diamondbacks going after Alex Bregman. Do not spend $5,000 on a fancy door. Spread the love around and get all of the problems fixed at your house. And a great place to do that at is the Window Depot. And yes, you might hear that name and think, I don't need windows. Well, they got you covered because they have way more than just windows. You'll find everything you need all in one place. They got doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, and more. And of course, they have windows with tons of inventory available in store for you to choose from. And if you need something custom, no problem, they got you covered. Contractors love the Window Depot for their job site ready quantities, unbeatable prices, expert service, and most importantly, the fact that no membership is required. And you do not need to be a contractor to go to the Window Depot, but you can head out there now and get started on your project for 2026. Trust me, I have so much work around my house. I'm apparently not allowed to buy any more adult action figures, the highly detailed ones like I tend to spend my money on. I have to invest it all back in that godforsaken home that I have. But of course, it's a great place to get started is at the Window Depot, and they're going to get me started. They can get you started. They are more than just a window store. Visit thewindowdepot.com and get started on your next project today. Diamondbacks still have lots of renovations to make to this team, and again, they need to do it on a budget. Window Depot, place to do it. We should have like a D-backs offseason excuse generator going on for reasons why the Diamondbacks haven't made more offseason moves. We've talked about it. We know they don't have a lot of money. I'm being realistic. You know, I could see this team maybe having Damon maybe $15 million left to spend. I mean, you got to take into consideration even James McCann and his $2.75 million as far as eating into the budget when you only had somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 to $40 million to spend in the first place. Every cent counts. And again, that's part of it. They did save quite a bit on starting pitching by getting Michael Soroka on such a deal. It was going to be hard to find a starting pitcher, I think, for less than $15 million anywhere in this league. It felt like without them having some atrocious numbers. But again, not a lot of money left to spend. And the money is a factor here. I think the Diamondbacks are probably waiting closer to the start of the season for guys to get desperate and be willing to accept shorter term deals and less money. But there could be other reasons, right? Like maybe Mike Hazen doesn't know it, but maybe his cell phone connection or his account was closed or something. Maybe there was a mix up. Maybe he's sitting around looking at his phone, wondering why he's not getting any calls, and he doesn't know that his number's been disconnected, right? That's something I would do as a competing GM. I wouldn't put it past the Dodgers to call, like Verizon and cancel Mike's account just to keep us, just to have another edge over us. I don't know the reason why the Diamondbacks haven't added more to this team, but a big reason why could be Ketel Marte trade. The fact that the Diamondbacks have been taking offers. They have been expecting to maybe get blown away by some big offer. They don't know what that offer is, right? So without knowing what that offer is, they do not know what they would need to still go out and add to this team, right? We have the Diamondbacks adding 2 starting pitchers and a backup catcher. There's been some other moves made that were minor league deals, but nothing significant. And again, the Diamondbacks have a lot of needs. Right-handed bat, first baseman, DH, an outfielder, more pitching. Another starting pitcher would be great. It would feel great in case of an injury to add some depth. It would be even more, it would feel a little bit even better if Michael Soroka was the depth piece and the Diamondbacks somehow added, a really good starter here to this rotation, right? I still believe in Soroka, and I think that he's going to end up being the 5th guy in the starting rotation. But again, just the Diamondbacks don't really have that depth, and they don't have the depth really in the minor league system either for them to turn to, right? So what Michael Dixon in the chat says, I think it's all about hoping they could get the moon for Marte and hoping that would work, and it didn't. Teams were not willing to give what he was worth. The same could be said about Zach Gallen at the trade deadline when the Diamondbacks stood pat on him and did not trade him, right? They knew that they could get the qualifying offer if they, or the compensatory draft pick. They offered him a qualifying offer and he turned it down and signs for a team for over $50 million. But again, it still was about not receiving what they felt like Gallen was worth. And they still needed him as a starting pitcher in the rotation after trading Merrill Kelly. So again, with no offer coming through for him, Gallen stayed a part of the D-backs until the end of his contract. Now what we have is Ketel Marte and this trade, which again was never framed as the Diamondbacks shopping Marte around. Again, this was framed as the Diamondbacks, once again, receiving offers on Ketel and hearing teams out. Yet, as we've discussed time and time and time again, as Damon has made me discuss on this show, he's literally attacked me in the pre-show meetings about not talking about Ketel Marte trade rumors. And it's because he literally is the talk of the offseason. I mean, even some of the high-priced free agents have been overshadowed a bit by Ketel Marte trade rumors, at least for a period of time. Those seem to have died down. It feels like the Diamondbacks are moving very close to making a definitive decision, as Mike said, and shutting down the trade rumors, simply saying to Steve Gilbert or the media that the Diamondbacks will not be trading Ketel Marte, right? But again, that trade and what they could potentially get in the haul for him is what has held them up. It is what has gummed up the system. The Diamondbacks offseason is frozen here a bit due to that, right? The value of his contract and the value of him as a potential MVP candidate makes him a very high price. So if the Diamondbacks are listening to teams, it should be an enormous cost to those teams. And again, like what we're seeing even with some of these free agents who might not get what they're projected to get, no team might feel like they are worth what they're asking. And that might be the same thing here with Ketel Marte. As much as it feels like the locker room, the clubhouse situation, him missing time was a big part of this, it might also be something that causes another organization to not want to make that move, right? That could add to it. Not to mention the fact that Ketel will be in his later years for the majority of this contract. So there's that. But again, this all comes down to Marte being a special player that should just be a Diamondback for the rest of his career. And unfortunately, due to the position they're in, I don't think that they had a choice but to hear offers on him. There wasn't anybody else on this roster that has done as much as Marte has that would get the offers, back that he would. It would be a remedy potentially that could fix the entire team simply by losing one of our biggest superstars, right? So that cost, that sacrifice of trading him could be worth it if the offer was obscenely big. One of those offers that we've discussed that's going to just infuriate the fan base of the team that traded for him, because everybody on that side is going to feel like their team gave up far too much for one player, right? But again, really what a Marte decision impacts is apparently the pursuit of Alex Bregman And really, as many of us, I think, have discussed, the cost of Bregman and his production don't really seem like it's like an equivalent. Like, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. It doesn't make much sense. It makes sense to add Bregman to this team without trading Marte. That makes sense, other than the finances, which still blow my mind. But again, really, a Marte decision doesn't really impact the payroll flexibility much. So it's not like they need to trade Ketel no matter what you're hearing. They do not need to trade Ketel to make one of these other deals happen, because his contract simply isn't enough for it to have a huge impact on signing a guy that's going to get $160 million for 4 or 5 years, or a guy that's going to get $400 million for an eternity, right? But what has happened here is, because they still, at the end of the day, offer for Marte that would come from a team randomly like the Tampa Bay Rays or the Boston Red Sox could involve any number of players that they're looking to add to their roster. They can't go out and add those players. Like, they couldn't stand around and let Merrill Kelly go to another team. And when they got a chance to sign Michael Soroka at such a good deal, I think that made sense, right? But again, if a deal comes through that gives the Diamondbacks young, controllable starting pitching that Mike Hazen has been seeking, then again, they can't go out and add any more to this team. They can't really even add to the bullpen, because at that point there would be a good chance that Soroka, for instance, could slot in as a long reliever, and then some of your bullpen is figured out, and other pieces can fall into place based on having, that need fulfilled, right? Or maybe he even is a high leverage arm for this team in later innings in the game. So, and Ernesto agrees with me. Ernesto first says, let's bring back Gallen, Walker, and Goldie and make the most D-back team of all time. That I'm not entirely against, but you can't have Walker and Goldie at the same time. I guess you could have a DH and then Walker playing first base, so that would work. But
I mean, there were rumors about the Astros like being interested in maybe trading Christian Walker. If they ate some of that money, I would for sure be interested, like without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's Christian Walker, so of course I'd be interested. He was one of the best defensive first basemen we've ever had, if not the best defensive first baseman.
He's not Pavin Smith. That's another positive. Put another pro on the Christian Walker side.
Yeah.
Walker. That's another one.
Right.
I mean, listen, Derek, we need him back.
I mean,
this show took a hit when Christian Walker walked out the door.
Oh yeah, I mean, without the Walker song,
we're nothing.
The vibes have not been excellent.
100%,
right? But I don't know. I mean, this seems silly that a Ketel Marte trade would be holding things up this much, but it also seems to make sense. Like, really, when you think about it, the reason why, at the end of the day, is that the front office has no idea what package a team could offer them that would blow them away. That would be substantial enough that you would feel comfortable moving Marte. And again, that package could include any one of these needs. However, that is the reason why shutting down these Ketel Marte trade rumors and focusing on what you need to focus on seems to be the rational move, with not a lot of time left, right? We got January, and then we have half of February until we have pitchers and catchers reporting. Then not very long after that, the season starts. In fact, this spring starts, feels like earlier than ever, right? So, I mean, the clock is ticking, and we have to get started on the other moves. We have to get started on fixing this bullpen. We got to get started on what this team is going to do to fill the many needs that they still have. So again, that's the reason why Marte is essentially freezing things up. And again, there's a lot of moving pieces to a trade of that size and that magnitude. It's going to impact everything they do going forward. So hopefully we can just move on, because that, I think, is still the smartest thing for this team to do. And I think at the end of the day, they need to just simply address pitching and maybe bring us Paul Goldschmidt back. But we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we are going to talk about the Diamondbacks bullpen being a major problem this offseason, and I'm going to try my best to figure out how we're going to stack this. So we're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Branded Bills is all over the place. Let me tell you, everywhere I go, I see Branded Bills hats, and that's because Branded Bills makes a fine hat. They are comfortable, they are lightweight, they are stretchy, and most importantly, they feature some amazing design work. And of course, right now you can find them when you go to an ASU game, all at their team store. You can find them for U of A and ASU as part of their campus collection, and the Phoenix Suns have some great hats. Brought to you by our friends at Branded Bills. So do not miss out on the wide variety of hats Branded Bills has available. And if you are a brand trying to have your brand stand apart from the crowd, look no further than Branded Bills. Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. You can start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need, whether it's snapbacks, truckers, fitted hats, it doesn't matter. They got you covered. They also have shirts, they have bags, they have merchandise, they have all sorts of great options. And of course, they can get you started on your order today. They're a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. And of course, that always makes shopping with them feel even better. So head to brandedbills.com and use our code BBPHNX for 15% off your order. And you know, right now is a great time to stop by Circle K. I know that some people need their coffee, some people need their warm drinks, and let's not forget that Circle K is America's thirst stop, and that counts for the hot drink season as well. So stop by, save on coffee. Do not spend $7, $8 on your coffee. Stop by Circle K. Actually join the Inner Circle for free right now. It's their free membership program. It's easy to download and get enrolled. Then you just got to use your phone number to score deals. Then head on in and save on all sorts of wonderful drink options with their hot. They have hot cocoa. They have coffee. They have a wonderful coffee bar, and you can also save on all sorts of cold drinks still as well, including get those 79-cent Polar Pops as an Inner Circle member and the 99-cent Frosters. Also save on gas. Make a purchase, you'll save on gas. Inner Circle members can visit 5 times and save 30 cents per gallon on gas. It's a minimum 5-gallon fill-up or a $5 merchandise purchase and can be earned once here in the month of January. So do not miss out. Join the Inner Circle for free right now by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Well, in the words of Winston from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, alarm bells are ringing, Willie. There's a pull for you. And the alarm bells are ringing, Willie, when it comes to the Diamondbacks bullpen. I see Michael Dixon shouting about it in the chat for good reason. That's because the Diamondbacks, it feels like they're running out of time. They've had no big signings. They've had no bullpen help. And quite frankly, there's that word, there's that phrase. I swore I wasn't going to use it in 2026. I'm sure I probably already used it 3 times in this episode. But the Diamondbacks don't really have a ton of options left now. That's the biggest problem. Arizona really has taken a risk here waiting. If the Ketel Marte trade did impact them waiting, they may have waited too long because, again, there doesn't seem to be a lot left on the market. And when you take a look, I mean, again, MLB has each free agent listed by position. It's hard to find the ones that are not signed when it comes to bullpen help, when it comes to relief pitching. I mean, there's still a lot of top available starting pitchers at the best of the best are still out there, right? You have Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez, Nick Martinez, Zach Gallen, Chris Bassett. These guys are all still available. You still have Marcell Ozuna, who we talked about yesterday for designated hitters. You also have Eloy Jimenez, and then right fielders. Not a lot of those guys left, but the one we talked about at the top, Kyle Tucker, he is still available, as are many of the top free agents across baseball. You got Cody Bellinger, Harrison Bader. You got so many guys available. Alex Bregman, Gino Suarez still out there as well. Yet when you look at relief pitchers, 41-year-old David Robertson is one of the top relief pitchers left on the market. Jacob Junis, who we've briefly discussed at times, is available. Danny Coulombe. You also have Derek Law, Evan Phillips, Justin Wilson, Luis Garcia, a bunch of names that will make most baseball fans say who, and who, right? And this is no disrespect to them. It's just a matter of the bullpen being a priority for a lot of teams to address their bullpen situations, and a lot of the top names being off the market already. I mean, it's getting down to a point where a guy like Jalen Beeks coming back to the Diamondbacks might be an option, or perhaps even old friend Andrew Chafin coming back, right?
I mean, we're looking at Beeks being like a top 10 available option right now, according to like people that are putting out updated
let's see,
reliever lists.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He would be the 8th best relief pitcher right now available on the market, according to MLB.com.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild. That's what we're talking about here. A guy who was mediocre in a bad bullpen for the Diamondbacks last season.
So we have to turn to internal options. I mean, we could discuss some of these guys that are still available on the market, and many of them could be a big help to this team. But let's just pretend.
Has Sir Anthony signed yet?
Sir Anthony has not signed.
That's the only guy I look at on available where I'm like, I want him.
I want him.
I want him bad.
I know. And quite frankly, bullpen neglect during the offseason has killed good teams before. Somebody said it in the chat because it's way gone now. But I mean, again, like legitimately, like you looked at this pitching staff and said, let's run it back. You looked at this bullpen and was like, let's do this again. This is the one. I mean, I don't believe that this bullpen as it's constructed is good enough for the National League. However, I'm going to take a shot at figuring this out. And again, what I want, I don't want to disrespect anybody here, but I want these guys, if this is the case, to maybe prove me right or prove me wrong. Prove the things I'm saying right now wrong, but prove me right about me feeling confident that we could figure this out. I think if you're talking about long relief, there still feels like there's, because of injury, a need for that, right? I think if you're taking a look at the Diamondbacks options on their active roster, on their 40-man roster right now, you have a bunch of young guys that are starters that you wouldn't want to necessarily put into that role, like a Cole Drake or a Mitch Bratt, because those guys at this point are your starting pitching depth. They need to get up to Reno, they need to get pitching, and they need to get ready for the season. So should they be called upon by this team due to injury, they're available. However, I do think that one guy that did do that for this team for a period of time could be the long relief option, and that's Gilbert Diaz. I think Gilbert Diaz could be a long relief option in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, and I think he could be pretty good at that, right? Then you also have some young arms that I think could all be used in early relief, middle relief, and maybe even high leverage situations as we go on. So we have Gilbert Diaz. Those arms that I'm talking about would be Philip Abner, Brandon Garcia, and super bad Andrew Hoffman, right? And then going from there, not terrible high leverage options for this team on this roster. You have Kevin Ginkel, you have Ryan Thompson. Those are two guys that I feel like you can count on, and two guys that, you know, kind of need to take a step forward as being veterans now in the bullpen that need to lead the way, and they need to do that based on their performance. They need to lead by example, right? Setup man, Damon, you're going to love this. Dre Jameson. Dre Jameson as our electric 8th inning setup man. And then in the 9th, Andrew Saalfrank. Because Andrew Saalfrank was incredibly good last year. And when you're taking a look at this bullpen, you're looking at ERAs, you're looking at innings pitched, you're looking at high leverage innings pitched. You feel like Saalfrank is actually a pretty good option, and one that people probably don't think of just due to the, gambling situation that he got into and the suspension. He kind of fell off a lot of people's radar. Let's not forget that in 2023, he was incredibly good for this team. Did not allow an earned run in 10 1/3 innings pitched in 10 games of relief. He walked 4, he struck out 6, he had a 3.26 FIP and a 0.00 ERA. Last season, a 1.24 ERA in 28 games. Damon, 29 innings pitched, a 1.24 ERA. It might have been, I don't know what to call it. It was towards the end of the season. It was in high leverage situations. It was when this team was trying to claw their way back into the wild card.
And we couldn't afford any blown saves at that moment of the season. And he looked good. He looked really good. Listen, I do
3.31 FIP.
I do love the prospect of Dre Jameson, as you said. I want Dre to be successful, and I think he has the talent. But until I see it, I don't think I can bank on it, if that makes sense. He's just struggled too much with injury. He hasn't really done it in the majors.
John, and then he came back, and they thought he freaking needed another Tommy John again.
Yeah, no, so right? I think
you miss a year of your career. You missed the entire 2024 season. You come back in 2025. And I know this is a very small sample size. It was only 3 innings pitched, but, again, a 3 ERA Yeah, and I mean, that's what he's kind of done his entire career. In 2022, he had a 1.48 ERA in 15 games. In 2023, a 3.32 ERA. So I don't know. I mean, again, I'm only basing this on the fact that I'm a huge fan of him. He's a guy that I believe in, but I also think that he is a guy that throughout his career has kind of proved, like, he's always posted good numbers.
True.
So I just constantly feel like no matter how much of it sounds like a joke, no matter how big of a pun it is, no matter how many times I have to say it, Damon, I feel like people simply forgot about Dre.
I think Dre Jameson is one of those wild cards that you need someone to stick, and the Diamondbacks have a lot of them. I believe Andrew Saalfrank is an MLB caliber reliever, even if he's not a closer long term. He might have to be for the first half of this season, and I think you can be okay with that. Now, you look at the rest of the options that you got, whether it's Abner, whether it's Burgos, whether it's Garcia.
A lot of questions there.
Yeah, none of these guys are proven, but at the same time, none of them are bad. None of them are straight up just not good MLB pitchers. Yolber Diaz, even. I think a lot of people think that he has pretty good stuff for a bullpen guy. So you need those out of those young guys. That's about 5 guys that we named right there. You need 3 of them to have mediocre to good seasons.
Yeah,
and the Diamondbacks will be okay. But that feels like the problem with that is that yes, if you are a normal organization and you had a bunch of talented relievers, you'd be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be all right. We'll figure it out. But when you're the Diamondbacks and you have a bunch of young relievers that you're calling up, you're a fan of this team and you know what the history of this bullpen has been, you're sitting there going, oh my God, none of these guys are going to work out because none of them have proven anything. And the Diamondbacks have proven that they can't develop young bullpen arms. So that's the part that is difficult to kind of go into the season being ecstatic about as a Diamondbacks fan. But I do think that there's potential there at the very least, more so than what we had last year by a long shot. I didn't even mention Andrew Hoffman. There are some other guys in this pen, but it's just you need these guys to work out and pan out, and until that happens, it's hard to feel confident in that.
I still can't help but wonder if Andrew Hoffman ever got his car, Damon. If he ever reunited with his car, which took a very long time.
I would hope so at this point.
I would hope so too. I still, the one thing I believe in, the true wild card here isn't really anybody in the bullpen. It isn't anybody on the 40-man roster. It's Jeremy Blake, the Pirates director of pitching development that the Diamondbacks hired to be the new assistant GM. You can call him assistant GM all you want. He is our new director of pitching development.
He made Paul Skeens.
He did. He created Paul Skeens in a laboratory, and I believe he kept the formula. So
Paul Skeens was nothing before this guy.
That's true.
Got a hold of him.
That is very true.
I will say
Paul
though,
Skeens had a 12 ERA and had a garbage fastball before.
Paul Skeens aside, the Pirates actually do have really good pitching. That's their thing.
They develop pitchers, right?
Yeah,
That's something this team is awful at. So if this human being is somehow the key to the Diamondbacks now having an advantage when it comes to pitching development, there's a whole lot of talent here, young talent to be worked with and to improve and to help, grow. That's the biggest thing. And it's not just young pitchers too. We've talked about this. There's a reason why Merrill Kelly became so good as he got older, and it was the way he adapted. It was the way he developed into a different pitcher as he got older and, found a way to basically get outs, even though at times Merrill Kelly's game hasn't been, extremely flashy. Right. So
we made Tony Stark. We hired Tony Stark as our pitching development guy.
Yes. Yeah. He built the skiing suit in a cave. But I don't know, Damon. I mean, overall, I feel like looking at this bullpen, I don't hate it. I don't feel like it's going to be a complete disaster. However, it's on these guys being given this opportunity to not make it a disaster. It's for guys to prove me and most of our fan base wrong that do not really believe if in running this group back that this is going to be successful. It's hard to make it. It's hard to feel like this team is a contender or even necessarily competitive if you're coming back with the same guys. However, the youth of this bullpen and the way that each and every one of these guys could take a step forward, especially with this new addition to the staff, feels like there's a little bit of hope there.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a little bit of hope there. I do like, in a little bit different sense than you though, Derek. You're saying like you feel like you have some confidence in what this bullpen could do. I'm too scarred. I'm like, that's what I'm saying about Dre Jameson.
I'm an idiot. Everything's cautiously optimistic when it comes to my world.
Yeah, I'm like, prove it to me though, and then I'll believe you, because I believe in the rest of this team. I actually think that they kind of sucked last year. I mean, not kind of sucked. They really sucked last year, but I think that the rotation could be okay. Like you have Merrill Kelly, who I believe in. I don't think Brandon Pfaadt's going to be as bad as he was last year. Erod, it would be hard to be worse than it was than he has been the last 2 seasons, but that has been 2 seasons now. And then I kind of like Soroka, honestly, all things considered. But this bullpen is just I'll believe the development of young bullpen arms when I see it. I do think there's potential here for the first time in a long while, more so than we've seen. But hopefully Hazen can get a couple hits here from that trade deadline. Is there a person?
It's Bo Brock. He just got here. He's looking so sad.
Oh man.
Yeah, that Cardinals situation is a disaster.
I don't even want to talk about it. It's so sad.
Tony Khan, I'll message you later. Anyway, speaking of being a supporter, Supporters Club members, we love you guys. Candace says you all need to like the video, by the way. Only 18 likes and 50 viewers. Come on, guys. She's not wrong. Hit that like button. And also, be like Candace and join our Supporters Club. It's a great way to support us directly. We are kicking ass when it comes to ALLCITY, by the way. Still leading the way in supporters, and that's all thanks to you wonderful people. You can sign up on our YouTube page. It's $5 a month. You get a badge next to your name in the live chat. As you can see, your badges will update with time, as well as getting access to those emojis, and that badge is a literal badge of honor. You also get access to our custom videos, like Damon playing headbands and me ruining that game for everybody. So
I won't. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, Derek. Yeah. Let's just say, become a Supporters Club member, watch the video, and Derek ruined my life.
Yeah, I did. Well, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office is ruining the life of the Athletics, Damon. We have some news coming in this morning. Apparently, the Athletics cannot be the Athletics, at least for the time being. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office denied multiple requests from the team, according to reports, including for the name the Las Vegas Athletics and Vegas Athletics. Like, first of all, when you just think of a term as generic as that, there's got to be companies that already have it, right?
Probably, yeah.
Las Vegas Athletics, Vegas Athletics. That seems like something like, I don't know, a business could have. That's a training facility. It seems like a place that, could do sports medicine for the various hockey and football teams that they have in that city. Like, there's a lot of things there.
It's like a gym.
Yeah.
It sounds like a gym.
A gym. Yeah. Look, it's a gym as well, right? And that's exactly why apparently the trademarks were denied, due to the names being deemed too generic.
But it raises the question, though, Derek, where it's like, how do you not have this figured out?
How have you not gotten this taken care of and figured out years ago,
That should have been step 1.
Years ago.
Is that not step 1?
That would be step 1. Step 1. It's like the Utah Hockey Club, they were the reason why, apparently, and I mean, this is just a rumor, but the reason why it took so long was they really wanted the Utah Yeti, which I actually like. I think it sounds good together. I think it's and apparently the company Yeti was like, nah, we got that. That's our name. You can't have it. So they end up going with the stupid mammoth. But according to the USPTO, the dominant portion of each mark refers to a well-known geographic location, being Las Vegas, while the remaining wording, athletics, lacks any kind of distinctiveness as applied to goods or services identified in the applications. So saying that you're a baseball team from a different city that's had that name for a very long time, including when you moved there from Philadelphia, that's not good enough.
Yeah,
for the USPTO.
That's the problem here, Derek, is that I think that the A's are so cheap that they're probably going to be like, all right, I guess we're the Vegas freaking Spades.
Yeah.
You know what I like? They're gonna instead of trying to monetarily fix this situation by being like, we cannot lose the Athletics. That is our iconic name.
It.
We have left a city before.
It's all you have left. Like, at that point,
Yeah.
you're the Ravens. that were the Browns
Yeah.
that moved to a different city and no one wants to even remember that. And then they bring in another team that called
or like the Oilers and the Texans.
Yeah.
And keeping the name, as you said, Derek, like you used to be the Philadelphia Athletics, then you became the Oakland Athletics. You can't lose athletics. It's too historical. It's too like much of a brand. The logo is awesome. Like the history of the team, the colors, the elephant. Like you can't lose that branding. And I know for a fact that the A's are just going to be like, we tried, didn't we? And you're going to be like, no. Stop doing everything wrong. Stop doing every single thing wrong. You guys decided you were moving there before you had a freaking stadium deal in place. Well, you decided you're moving there before trademarking the damn team name. What are you doing?
Part. Like I saw construction happening at the site, building a stadium. And that same day, there were conspiracy theorists online claiming that they still hadn't got the stadium squared away. Damn, and they took the players to where the new clubhouse is going to be while the construction was going on. Like, that stadium's being built, yet for some odd reason, it's not a clear-cut situation like it is with every other stadium in every sport, right? Like, it's like a stadium gets built, people know it's getting built. Like, this hasn't, like, the timeline hasn't really slowed down, imploding old hotels and building it on the end of the strip where there really isn't much left. Like, there's a lot of things to this that, everything would be fine except for the speculation here that somehow they don't have everything in place. This is a big part of it. And they were right to an extent. They don't have everything in place. This is an insane thing to not have taken care of.
It's ridiculous. I genuinely, how are you moving? How are you announcing a relocation before you have a ground that you can break on a stadium deal and a name trademarked? Holy hell.
Yeah. And Sean's right. He says, not only way late, but this title makes me, no, I'm sorry. The other message.
Yeah, he said that pursuing Kyle Tucker is like saying Sean's pursuing Hillary Duff.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Same here.
Again, it's like me saying I want, a Maybach or whatever, right? Like Sean here says
Maybach music.
They're just doing the most to ruin that franchise. And really that's what it comes down to. It is a beloved franchise by that fan base, and they are ripping the heart out of these fans. They are doing everything they can to turn their backs on so many people in Oakland and elsewhere that just don't feel like this team needed to be moved and needed to have all of this go on. And most importantly, it feels like when people get divorced and they just start doing things fast, right? Like just to split stuff up. That's when people are taking advantage of these people by going to their yard sale and giving them nothing for treasured goods simply because, we're having a moving sale and everything must go.
That was my ex-husband's. I don't care.
I don't give a damn about that comic book collection. I don't even know what's in there.
I don't know.
$5.
Yeah, 20.
It's yours. Take it.
It's a thousands of dollars comic book collection.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what this whole situation feels like. It feels like the identity, the history, the lineage, it's all just being thrown away here, one move at a time. If this team ends up being called anything other than Las Vegas Athletics or the Vegas Athletics, that it's the true nail in the coffin.
It's a travesty
for the Athletics, and at this point, it's just an expansion franchise that wiped its history clean and moved to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I agree with that. What are they going to call them? Some stupid ass Vegas name, I bet.
I mean, again, we can't wait for the Ketel Marte trade rumors to go away. Damon, I'm so glad that we got this stadium situation done where we do not have to worry about the Diamondbacks moving and speculation on what their future is going to be.
How ridiculous would it be for a team to leave Arizona in baseball?
Dumb.
That's what I was saying the whole time with all of that.
Money and people still want to come play for us just because they like the vibes and the weather here. They're like, I want to live in my house year round. That's why I want to go to Arizona. Oh yeah, I bought a house there because I love Arizona, and that's the reason why to go there. Also,
I just remember
flat tax.
That's true. I just remember telling people though that like, guys, MLB, this is like the MLB's, other than it's Florida and Arizona. Those are the two states that the MLB is like aligned with and that they want presence in. It would be a criminal decision to move the team out of one of those
Oh, yeah.
states.
Oh,
I mean, it might happen in Florida,
It might.
but that's because probably there's more Yankees fans in Florida than any other team.
And I mean, you're still going to have the Miami Marlins there, so it's not like you're moving both of the teams out of there. But again, it's also a weird geographic situation. Like baseball for so many years was just located essentially in the northeast of this country.
Yeah.
It's the reason why so many of those cities hate each other. Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, they all hate each other just because of baseball and geography, right? But like again, like
Boston.
the branching out, venturing more west, having a team in Las Vegas, having a team in Arizona, like these are the things that should change a lot about the love of baseball geographically across the country, right? And moving a team to Las Vegas, you feel confident that you are going to create a new fan base there once you get there, right? Or at the very least, you're just going to be a travel destination for all
the other fans,
visiting fans, to fly to Vegas, have a reason to come stay
Yep.
for a weekend, do some gambling, do some drinking, and have a good time watching baseball, right? Which you and I are definitely going to do.
I was about to say,
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Sounds
about
like
it.
I'm pretty sure that the first Vegas weekend trip that is available, Derek and I will probably go to Vegas
We will be there.
and do some content.
If
out there.
if I survive after December 2026, we'll see. Maybe I go back to the cube world after the baseball world falls apart. But anyway, Damon, we got to get out of here. You got another show to do, and I don't want to talk about this miserable athletics franchise again. I'm just happy that this team that starts with an A up on my hat doesn't have to worry about their future in the city that they're in. But
and
God,
this
what a
is true.
disaster.
What Coolbro says, like the Raiders are an away team basically in like probably I would say about half their home games that they play these days. And that's because they moved to Vegas, and they used to have a great home field advantage.
They did. They had one of the best. I mean, the Black Hole was one of the craziest environments for any team to go play in. Grown men dressing like professional wrestlers and stuff. It was great. It was
Dudes
amazing.
wearing spiked shoulder pads
with and skulls.
with
Everybody
a gorilla outsuit underneath.
Yeah, everybody had like
Darth
skull
Vader.
masks.
Darth Vader would show
You ruined
up.
it. You ruined it by
Yeah.
moving them to Vegas. But also, I will say that we kind of go through that too. The whole opposing fan thing here. It's very difficult. It's an uphill battle, and it takes years to establish
Yeah.
a fan base. It almost takes a generation of kids being born and growing up as fans in order for you to get through that whole phase. It feels like the Diamondbacks are entering that phase.
It
There's
does.
so many
It does.
people
Yeah.
your age and younger.
Totally.
that
I think
grew up
that-
loving this team.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I am truly the first generation of Diamondbacks fans. Like I was born 2 years after the franchise was announced that it was going to be started. And so my whole life I've known the Diamondbacks. But most people that have been Diamondbacks fans couldn't say that. They were fans of other teams. My mom was a Reds fan. My dad was a Yankees fan. They became Diamondbacks fans because once they moved the team here. And so it's like I think, Derek, you've said like you had other teams that you liked as well because there was no team.
Oh, yeah.
So if you liked baseball, you had to pick a different team.
Mhm.
And now we're finally like I think embarking on the era of like people that have all they've ever known as the Diamondbacks growing up, getting jobs, having money where they can go spend it. And I think that in the next like 10 years, we're going to continue to see a rise with D-backs attendance and just overall support in this city. But obviously you can't prove that, but I do feel confident that that is like well on its way to becoming the truth here.
Well, and really what this all comes back to, Damon, is the fact that this city does not have an NFL franchise, and I am choosing the Jacksonville Jaguars for my support. That's all I got. We thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Jesse Friedman will be joining us tomorrow at 12 p.m. We're going to talk about starting pitching depth on this team and what the Diamondbacks are going to do in regards to that if they don't add any more players to this roster. And I'm sure there'll be some new crazy trade rumor that pops up between now and then. So make sure to join us for that. Until then, we love you guys. We appreciate you. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Damon, as always, is at Damon Dog with a DAWG. And we're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks, and all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, which I am going to buy Twitter back and change it back to Twitter with that $160 million. So, or $400 million. It's going to cost a lot. He bought it for $44 billion. It's gone down 72% in value in over his time owning it. So we're going to offer him like $600 million, and we'll see what we can get. But until then, until we figure that out, we thank you guys again for your attendance today. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Behave yourselves, Candace. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you stop trying to spend crazy amounts of money that you don't have.
We all silly like the mayor.